Alrighty, it's that time of the year, the best time of the year, March Madness, baby. March Madness, time to fill up my bracket. Have fun. If you're watching this and you want to copy me because you're in my bracket challenge, hey, go ahead. I have predicted the winner of 3 of the last 4 and 4 of the last 6. The years that I did not get it were Virginia and North Carolina, I think. Yeah. So let's jump into it and get it started. So let's just jump right into it. First things that I like to do. Yes, only one number 16 seed has ever won in the tournament. So you just go straight through Alabama, Houston, Purdue, Kansas. And same thing with the number 2 seeds. That is a little bit more likely, the 15 seeds, but still rarely happens. I know it just happened last year with St. Peter's, but I'm not going to take the risk of missing out on a 2 seed, which has a great chance to make the Final Four. You got to also go with the numbers and because the 15 seed is probably not going to make it past the second round. So even if you get that upset right, the rest of your bracket still might be in trouble. And if you don't get it right, it's a high risk, low reward type of situation. So all the number 2s automatically advance. And for me personally, the number 1s always make the Sweet 16. That's just me. That's just going off money bets, essentially. That's just going off statistics and all that. Then I like to go through and knock out some of the teams that I just really like and I do have confidence in based on what I've seen this season and things of that sort. On the south side, Creighton this year. Boom. Send them over. They're one of the top teams in offense and defense this year. I've got a couple of fun stats, a couple of fun numbers based on the tournament that we're just going to send them straight into the next round as well. Baylor, champions 2 years ago, send them as well. Top 3 team. I don't really know much about Santa Barbara, but if Baylor loses that first round game as well, 3 seeds often advance. 3 seeds are almost as good as 2 seeds. Look at that. Number 3 seeds have won 85.1% of the matchups. 3 seeds are 19-1 in the past 5 tournaments. So you just look at simple things like that. Don't overthink it. All right. So sending Baylor. Over on this side, the teams that I like, Auburn. I hate this matchup. I honestly wish Auburn was like an 11th seed down here. They could knock out Iowa State. They definitely could knock out Xavier. Iowa, high-octane offense. They're in the Big Ten. All the Big Tens know how to score, but I've liked Auburn. I like the way that they play. They have 2 really good guards, and I think that they can actually make some noise. It sucks, though, that their second-round game has to be against Houston because there's no way I'm going to have them upsetting Houston. Could see it. Wouldn't be stupid if you picked that necessarily, but can't have Auburn go past there. That's why I hate them as a 9. I wish they were like a 10 or 11 so I could have them win 2 games. But I do really like them, so we're going to send them right away. And I don't think there was anybody else on this side that I love as far as these matchups are concerned. So let's see who else we just love for sure. VCU, this is also a really tough matchup. St. Mary's is going to be really good, but A10 Pride. That's where I went to George Mason. We're in the A10. VCU is always good. They always make noise in the tournament. I'm going to give them at least 1 win. We're just going to send them in right away. Same thing with UConn, and this is also where the matchup sucks. I am big on UConn. This matchup will be fun and interesting. We're going to have to look at this matchup pretty in-depth, the Kansas-UConn in the Sweet 16. But I think UConn is great. They're a good sleeper pick. They definitely have the potential to make it to the Final Four. And we have some rankings here. I'm going to show you a little Google sheet that I've worked on. Some of the things that you can look at. This says east of the line. If they're colored in this color, that means they're east of a specific line in which the last several winners have only been on the east. So teams like Gonzaga won't win because nobody on the West Coast has won in the last 13 years. We got things like this. These are the fun little stats of things. I know you can't see it because my big head is in the way, but 100% of national champions since 1993 have made their conference tournament semis. So that's something to consider potentially. We got another one here. Each of the past 5 champions have been 1 seeds. People don't like to do chalk, if you will, but it's important to do a 1 seed. There's a good chance that they win. If you look at the history, a 1 seed usually wins. Not always, but it's a good bet if you're trying to win money. 100% of national champions since 1997 are located east of this line. So the last 26 champions have been from the East Coast, essentially. There's a website called kenpom.com, and he ranks these teams based off of various factors. I don't know exactly what all these numbers mean, but you look at them for the rankings. Adjusted offense and adjusted defense. Each of the last, I think, 19 winners have been a top 44 offense and a top 22 defense. So what we did was grab these numbers. The ones in blue are a top 44 offense. You can see even Colgate was a top 44 offense, and the ones in yellow are a top 22 defense. So the ones that are both yellow and blue get highlighted in the lime green. So UCLA, St. Mary's, all of the teams that are in green. But then darker teams, the slightly darker, I don't know if they are east of this line. Texas and who was the other one? Creighton and Kansas State, because I don't know exactly where this line is. It's pretty thick. So they get the could-be champions, and then the east of the line means these are your best bets. Alabama, Houston, Connecticut, Tennessee, Purdue, Kansas, Arkansas, Duke, and TCU. Those are the teams that are in KenPom's top 44 offense, top 22 defense, and are east of this line. These are some of the stupid facts that you can go off of that shouldn't mean anything, but they do. Other teams that I do like Gonzaga, so we're just going to send them in right away. Nothing against Grand Canyon, just don't really know much about them. And then on this side, I've seen Kansas State play. They beat Kansas, or came really I think they beat Kansas, pretty sure. Yeah, they won one and lost one against Kansas. They've beaten Texas, who's a top team. They beat Baylor twice. They've been awesome in the Big 12. They are a strong team. I like them a lot. And then I do really like Tennessee, and I'm not going to have Duke lose to Oral Roberts. That could be a fun one. I'll probably be rooting for Oral Roberts to win that game, but I am not going to have Duke actually lose that game. They've been playing great as of late. I believe they won the ACC tournament, so they're on fire right now. They are getting hot at the right time. They're going to be a tough out. So those are like the guarantees that I really like, teams that I want to I just know, boom, automatic. San Diego State, Charleston. I like to look first offense, defense. It's tough because they're in such different conferences. They play such different competition. This is in the major conference of the Pac-12. They are in some mid-major conference that isn't going to play at the same strength of opponent. You can see their BPI rank much higher. So looking at records, looking at just points scored can be misleading. Really like looking at some of the info that they give you down here. It's important to read this type of stuff. They lack star power, but they are a big team. They are a top 100 offense, but they do lack perimeter shooting, which could be a concern. They are a 12 seed. Not really the best strength to hear about. Meanwhile, the Aztecs have only lost 3 times since December 10th. What more do you need? 3 losses in 3 months. They're going to be great, ranked in the top 10 nationally in defensive and offensive efficiency, and we find them right here. They just missed out on that top 40 overall ranking, but they are a top 22 defense. So first round, boom, easy picks, San Diego State. Now this one, I've been going back and forth with a little bit today. Their defense, stout. Again, not in the same type of conference as the ACC, but the ACC has also been down this year. The ACC hasn't been that good. Their BPI rank, pretty close considering they are a mid-major conference. They have taken on a top 25 opponent, which is always important. They both score the ball really well. Miami, their thing has been offense. They've been one of the top teams in the ACC, but they do have some bad losses as well. I mean, they lost to Maryland by 18. They lost twice to Duke, including in the ACC championship game. Meanwhile, they were able to beat up on Mississippi State, who's a strong team. And then you look at some of this stuff. Let's see what it says. Isaiah Wong helped lead the team on a nice run last season, and he's back at it again this season, this time as a true threat from distance. The lack of size on the roster, big one, makes the Hurricanes vulnerable on the defensive end, but few offenses are more consistent. Drake is led by an experienced starting 5 whose average age is over 23 years old, so that's pretty old for college. Youngest of them is 20-year-old who's a dangerous shooter and was the player of the year in the Mountain Valley Conference. Bulldogs take care of the ball thanks mostly to the point guard, who has a 3-to-1 assist turnover ratio. Don't be fooled by the double-digit seed. Drake is very capable of busting brackets. 2 good offenses. That's what this tells me. Lack of size. So, what have I done? We go to Drake. Brody, 6'10". DeVries, 6'7" guard. One of the top 2 scorers. DeVries, the top scorer. That causes matchup problems for Miami. Who else did we have? Sturts, 6'3", but senior. You do like teams that have a lot of senior guys, a lot of guys who have been there. Drake hasn't necessarily been there in the tournament, but they are experienced. They've played a lot more basketball. I like guard play in the tournament. I like teams with experience as well. So veteran guard play, that's why I really like Auburn. So yeah, we're going to go with Drake, because why not? Kent State, Indiana. This one is also going to be tough. It could be an upset pick. You got to pick at least one 13 matchup. This is tough, honestly. This happens every year where there's a 12-13 matchup that I end up picking. I get 2 upsets from the same bracket, but I don't think I can do that. Jackson Davis 6'9", Hood Schifino 6'6". So they're gonna, their 2 best players gonna just completely overpower Kent State. But what that does tell me is that Drake with their size might be able to keep up with them. So we pick Indiana. We double check this real quick. Yeah, stout defense. If they can slow them down, I think Drake could be the Cinderella this year. They don't turn the ball over. Excellent inside the arc, and their defense is strong, but that's not going to matter. Bada bing, bada boom. So all of that tells me I don't care. We're picking Iowa State to advance. This one, I really want to pick Kennesaw State, to be honest. I really want to pick Kennesaw State, not because I know anything about Kennesaw State, just because I know how bad Xavier can be sometimes. It's so rough. They can be so good. I mean, look at that, 81 points per game. That's not a joke. But, they just looked so bad in their Big East championship game. I just don't like Xavier that much. But we're picking Xavier. We picked Texas. Penn State's the exciting team. They're one of the hottest teams entering this tournament. Texas A&M, not doing as hot. Let's see. Aggies will be a popular pick after finishing the season on our 16-3 run. Yeah. So they actually, I can't even say that they're not doing as hot. It's just that Penn State made it to the championship of their Big Ten tournament as a 10 seed. So they are going to be an exciting pick to take. Deep run in the Big Ten tournament. Rely heavily on the 3 ball. They are in every game. They were just in the Final Four a few years ago. They have 6. Dexter Dennis is still playing. Oh my gourd. I'm going to ride the hot hand for this one. This is a game where I don't think it matters. If you want to pick the upset, go with the one that you think is more exciting. Go with Penn State, because I don't think either of these teams are beating Texas. Texas is really strong this year. They deserve to be a number 2 seed. Because I am not a fan of Xavier, I don't care how well they've played. I don't care about their offense. I'm picking Iowa State. Defense wins this game. Defense beats offense in this case. But I am not picking a 6 seed to make it. Let's see. Let's check real quick. Check some of the stats. But from what I've seen with Texas, a lot of people don't like Texas to go deep in the tournament either. But look at that. More than half of the Longhorns' scores come from assists. Team game. Since 1993, number 2 seeds have won 21 of 23 meetings against number 6 seeds. They're number 2 seeds for a reason. They struggle from 3, and they struggle from 3. Boom. Easy. Just as I thought. Texas. First Elite 8 team. We're going down to a different side of the bracket. I'm not filling it all in right away. Oh, we are picking Houston, though. So, boom. 1-2. 2. No way is Drake. Drake's the sleeper team for the Sweet 16. Woo! You don't get past that. All right. 1-2 over here. In the end, it's chalk. That's how we're doing it. We're going with either Arizona State or Nevada. I think it's going to be Nevada after just running through the numbers. And Gonzaga's really good. And Gonzaga has no pressure on them this year. Once again, Gonzaga is still one of the team's best scorers. They don't shoot 3 very well. But who needs to when you're so dominant inside the arc? Drew Timmy's still playing. They won the conference. 3-point defense and free throw shooting have been flaws. That's interesting. Another 7-10 matchup. It's hard. I don't want to do chalk, but UCLA is just so good that I don't see them losing to either one of these teams. So we're going to pick UCLA. So that makes this Northwestern-Boise State game a quick toss-up. I really like Northwestern. Everybody's talked really highly about them in the Big Ten. Boise State, don't really know too much about. Let's see. Beat San Diego, beat Texas A&M, lost to Utah State, lost to Nevada. Purdue, just a crap ton of Big Ten games. Losses in 3 of their past 5 games. Boom. Don't love to see that. Things drop off quickly as the Broncos on their bench, as little as the team in a big dance. Yikes. Okay, so their starters are the only ones who do anything for them. They have a strong defense, struggle on the offense. Offense versus defense. We've already played that defense wins games. Northwestern, UCLA. Kentucky Providence. Kentucky is not exciting to me. They've had too many games where they're just rough. I like this line. This is now your older brother's Providence team. I haven't watched Providence at all this year. That's the problem. Struggle against teams that are strong at shooting from the perimeter. 1 or 5 when they've lost the rebounding battle. That's not great, as it says best at out-rebounding opponents. But 11 seeds are strong. Yeah, I want to pick, but we're going Kentucky. Michigan State, USC. All right, I did a lot with this earlier, actually, in preparation for this, because I knew this one was going to take a long time. Back and forth we went. USC is magic. USC lacks bench depth, tends to stick to a 7-man rotation, but they're super strong offensively. They are going to be able to knock down a lot of threes early. Michigan State hasn't been as strong this year. Their defense is and this is the big one for me. Defense against teams that hit a high percentage of threes. Meanwhile, the Trojans, top 50 in both offense and defense, and they kill people inside the arc. All right. Guard play, very strong. I mentioned that I like guard play earlier. Boom. USC. And unfortunately, I had Marquette as a potential champion, but I think that the USC is going to be another team that just shocks a little bit. You look at the comparison. Offense is not as strong as Marquette's been. Marquette is one of the best offensive teams in the country this year. But again, it's the Big East. Pac-12 is not great either, but it's an interesting style because you've got really good defense here. You've got strong defense here. Fast tempo by Marquette. They could easily run away with this against USC, but if their offense isn't rolling, they rely a lot on the fast break and doing offense that way, pushing the pace offensively, slowing things down defensively. Not great history. Number 2 seeds against 10 seeds. 10 seeds tend to lose 9-1, but we're going with the upset here. USC. Duke, Tennessee. We're riding the hot hand with Duke. Duke finds their way in the tournament. A lot of people want Tennessee as well, but this is just a really tough matchup, really good matchup. But Duke is hot right now. Filipowski is scoring like, I don't know, he's awesome. John Shire has really figured this team out. They weren't good in the beginning of the year, but they are good now. Oh yeah, better defense, similar offense, 8-9 matchup. Look out, Florida Atlantic. It doesn't matter because Purdue's beating them anyway. Purdue, Duke. Duke's the popular pick. I don't trust Purdue. That's all it comes down to, really, for me. They got big player of the year, Zach Edey, but when you're relying on a big man, it just doesn't really work in the big dance. Yeah, Edey leading the charge. Boilermaker should have no problem making noise in the big dance. This is a toss-up pick for me, but I just don't trust Purdue. That's all it really comes down to. We're going with Duke. Kentucky, Kansas State. I've watched Kansas State more than Kentucky. I almost had them losing to Providence anyway. We're going with Kansas State. We're not going to have a 10 seed make it to the Sweet 16. Sorry, Kansas State. Bada bing, bada boom. Boom, this is rough, though. See, this side just sucks. Marquette and Purdue, those are some of the weaker 1-2 seeds. But now somebody else is going to the Final Four. Crazy. This side, Missouri, Utah State. Easily pick Missouri. They've been awesome this year in the SEC, but they are going to lose to Arizona. Creighton, Baylor, this is the one that I hate so much because Baylor's great, Creighton's great. And when you look at the numbers up here, we've got, where's Baylor? Yeah, we got Creighton here at 13. And then we've got Baylor below them at 15. So that suggests that Creighton should win, and that's all I need. Creighton finally making a move in the tournament. Virginia Furman, we need a 13 upset. We are going with Furman. I almost picked the Iona, or no, I didn't almost pick the Iona one. I almost picked the Kent State one. We need an upset, and I don't think it matters because San Diego State is awesome as well. So Furman's only going to win one game. Why do I like Furman really quick? Boom, right there. Offense, 82 points per game. Virginia relies on defense. They can't score. Furman is going to find a way to score. So Furman's offense knocks out Virginia. They don't have the offense, though, to go against San Diego State. I think San Diego State is a sleeper team this year. They are strong offensively and defensively. You see their rankings up here at 14. They're not highlighted because of all the other circumstances, but that does mean that they can make a good run. This matchup, also tough. Alabama, San Diego State. Alabama is a popular pick for a lot of people. I think that they're going to be really, really good, but they are going to not win the championship. It's just a matter of when. So do I knock them out here against San Diego State, or do I knock them out here against the winner of Creighton, Arizona? Creighton, Arizona, it's going to be hard to pick against Arizona. I think Creighton's run drops there because Arizona's just that good. I kind of really want to pick San Diego State. Alabama is very, very good, but they've had so many bad games, and the deeper they get into the tournament, the more controversy is going to keep coming up about Brandon Miller. I'm going to take Alabama, but then I'll have them lose to Arizona. I think that's the only right way to do it. And we need number 1 seeds there. We need a number 1 seed, and we're only going to have 2 number 1 seeds going at it, potentially. It's going to be a number 1 seed likely to win the tournament. That's just how it is. So Arizona Final Four, Houston Final Four, Duke, Kansas State. Do we go with the miracle run of Duke being Duke, or do we have Kansas State backed by a stellar defense, high scoring guard, high in offensive and defensive efficiency? Kansas State. Duke is 21. Where's Kansas State? 24. Duke with a chance to win. 18, but 18.49, 18.3, 9.42, and basically the same team. But the numbers say that Duke should win. We'll go Kansas State. That's a more fun Final Four. Kansas State, Arizona. Arizona, another chance at the national championship. Gonzaga is the only one who upset Arkansas in the Sweet 16. 1 versus 4 seeds. There is a reason why they're 4. We'll take Kansas. Kansas back to the Elite 8. Going against Gonzaga. Offense versus all around. But 3-point defense and shooting. Don't trust Gonzaga. I will go with the Jayhawks to get back to the Final Four. But again, I can't have them winning the championship. Going to take Houston over Kansas. Just as a feel. Houston versus Arizona. I'm going with the odds. A number 1 seed wins it all. We're going to take Houston. They say that this is their year. They've been one of the top teams in the nation all year long. The way that it just plays out in the bracket, if they had been on this side of the bracket, maybe not. But I think it works out. We missed a game. Maryland, West Virginia. This is a fun one. I think I'm going to take West Virginia just based off of the fact that they're in the Big 12. West Virginia is there. Maryland just below them. 19-14, 18-13. Offense, very similar. They got a 3-point advantage on offense, 3-point advantage on defense. So, yeah, I just like West Virginia more. I haven't really seen Maryland play. That's all it comes down to, really. That's just the way that I feel it based off of the way that the matchups work out. I don't think Alabama's good enough this year. I don't know if I actually think that Houston's good enough, but it's not going to be Kansas because teams don't repeat. It's not going to be Purdue because they always blow it in the tournament. Not going to be UCLA or Gonzaga because they're on the West Coast. Marquette could easily show up there. Marquette could definitely make it to the Final Four. They're good enough this year with their offense and their tight defense. Tennessee could definitely beat them there, but if you want somebody else to not do Kansas State, go for Marquette, Duke, or Tennessee. I actually don't feel great about it this time. Last year I felt better when I picked Kansas, but hey, like we said, that's how the bracket shook down. So there you go. There's my champion pick. Appreciate you all for stopping by. Thank you, everybody. Wow, I just smacked right in front of the mic. That shot up the levels. That's hilarious. Thank you for all the redemptions, all of the everything. This has been fun. You guys some of you don't even care about sports, and you stopped in and watched, so I appreciate it very much. All right, more sports stuff to come. Probably be streaming DVD at some point this week. Baseball's right around the corner, so we're going to be doing some Phillies streams as well. I'm probably going to post this on YouTube if you need to watch it again as well in a much shorter version. So thank you all for watching. I don't know what this is going to send me to, but we'll see.